By popular request, today we're making Moana. Hi guys, I'm Jen Johns. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be traveling together to Hawaii. No, we're not, but I need to have that sort of wishful thinking in my head because in Canada we are in the dead of winter and it's freezing cold still. So today we're going to be doing this wonderful ocean-themed Moana cake. Here I have her in her dress outfit here. She's got her grass skirt on. She's sitting on the beach here. And then over here I have the key feature of the movie, of course, which is the ocean. And I've made these waves out of Isomalt, which is one of my favorite things to work with. So make sure you guys have hit that notification bell. Ring my bell, please. And let's get started on this week's tutorial. So the first thing we're going to need to do is bake our cake. What I've done is I've taken my doll cake pan and I've baked my cake into that shape. If you don't have the doll cake pan, you can use just a regular tapered bowl. It works just the same. What we're going to do next is we're going to take some vanilla buttercream and I'm going to cover the entire cake in it. If you need a recipe for the cake or for the buttercream, you can find them on my blog, cookiescupcakesandcardio.com, and you can also find the link in the description box and the full tutorial. So to make the grass skirt portion of the cake, I've come up with an excellent cake decorating hack. We're going to be using the fettuccine pasta attachment that goes with the KitchenAid mixers. What I've got here is just a piece of kind of orangey yellow fondant, and I've got a little bit of brown in there too to marble and give it a little bit of texture. I'm just going to turn on the mixer and I'm going to feed the fondant through. And it's going to save us a lot of time. We don't have to cut out each of these individual pieces, and they come out perfectly like that. You can lay them out and then onto silicone or anything you want, parchment paper, and then we're just going to transfer them to the cake. Now you want to make sure that you go back over and you're covering all the gaps so that you don't see any of the icing poking through. So with the grass portion mostly finished, what I've moved on to is a piece of ivory fondant, which I've rolled out nice and flat, and I've kind of circled it a bit. It's about between 9 to 10 inches, and I've just scalloped the edges with a sharp knife to give it a little bit of shape. It's going to shape as it wraps around the cake anyways, but this just kind of gives a little bit of extra. Now I've got another cake hack here. I'm going to be using this straw. It looks like I chewed on it, but I swear I didn't chew on it. I used the end of a knife to flatten it. I couldn't find a cutter that was small enough for this, so I had to improvise with the straw. So what I'm going to use is the end here, and I'm just going to poke in some details. Now, kind of in the Moana dress, she's got a little bit of almost lace-like, and so I'm using this to create that appearance here. So I'm going to do that sporadically on these edges here, and that will finish off this dress part before we go to put it on. Once we've got the little details cut out here, I'm going to take a round circle cutter, no particular size. You don't want it to be too big though. And I'm just going to press a little bit of a hole in there. This helps prevent a little bit of the tearing that can occur when we transfer the skirt here of the dress. Then take a sharp knife and I'm just cutting from the end right into the circle. This is going to be where the split is in the dress. And then we're going to take up the fondant here. We're going to transfer it to the cake, and I'm going to put the split here right where the longest pieces of the grass are to make sure that that's all hiding here. Now we can cover this part up. You can add the little wrinkles into here so the dress has a little bit more of texture and dimension. Now taking some of the same orange fondant that we used for the grass skirt, I've cut out some little mini flowers using a flower cutter, and I'm also going to use a number 10 tip to use as the cutter for the center. So just press that into the center and then you can pop that out. And then on the back, I'm just going to put a little bit of water and we're going to apply these flowers to the lace part here and just press them gently onto that. Right above, you can put them however many you want around the outside. So I'm just going to get that finished. So once we've got Moana's top covered, I've removed a little bit of the cake from the top here. You could push through the cake and use the doll to do that, but it does create a little bit of resistance and you might not have enough room to fit the doll in. So I just took a little bit out with a sharp knife. So I've got her wrapped in plastic wrap and I'm just going to take her and insert her into the cake just straight up and down like that and press down. And then I took a second piece of ivory fondant. I repeated the exact same process that I did with the larger piece. And I am just going to wrap it around, but this time I want to join it here. We're going to add a little bit of a sash here for her to be complete. So to finish off Moana, what we're going to do is use a red strip of fondant. Now with a sharp knife, I'm just going to take the end and I'm just going to feather the ends a bit just to give it more, like a more realistic look to it there. So I'm just flipping these around, just using that sharp edge to just cut that just a little bit. And then I'm going to just wrap it around her waist and then just have it kind of cross and make sure that we've covered up any part of her waist that we don't want showing. Now, of course, you can leave the Moana doll like this if you want to, but we're going to take it up a whole nother level and we're going to make the sea, because if you've seen the movie, you know how important the ocean is to the movie. So we're going to make the waves next. So for the waves, we're going to use Isomalt. Now I love working with Isomalt. It's basically a sugar substitute and it's a little bit easier to work with. You don't have to worry about making sure the temperature of the sugar gets to a certain level. We've just got to take these little Isomalt nibs. I put them into a silicone container and then you microwave them in the microwave for, it took about 1 minute and 30 seconds. You do it in 30-second intervals. It's all explained on the bag. It's super easy and it even comes pre-colored, like I want this blue. So here I've got my silicone mat here, and then underneath I just have a little sugar in the raw container. You could use anything that's round. Obviously, the larger the size of the container, the bigger your wave is going to be. So once your Isomalt is melted, it is very hot, so you want to make sure you're being careful. And I'm just going to pour it on top here of my container. And I'm just going to do it really slowly. If you do it when it's too warm, you'll find that it's just going to run right off. Use a silicone spatula. I can catch that guy back up there. And I want to make sure I'm giving it kind of like that wave look to it. You can play with it for a couple minutes, probably 30 seconds, a minute, maybe up to 1.5 minutes. Not very long because it does start to solidify. Any of this extra stuff down here at the bottom, you can break off and you can put it back into your container and remelt it. That's another really cool thing. Once you've got this solidified and cooled completely, you're going to find that you can create these awesome waves that we're going to stand up on our cake board. So we're going to get decorating that next. Some of the last few things we need to do are to decorate the cake board. Now I have a nice large cake board. This is a 12-inch one. You could also go with a 14 if you prefer. Here I have just kind of put a cake board in place of where I'm going to slide the Moana cake into last. So I want to work around this spot and I'm going to take my vanilla buttercream, and out here I want to have basically, this is going to be the sand or the beach. And I'll get some behind her too. So that area. So we want to fill all this in. And then obviously you can always put more extra once you get her in place. You want to go right up to the edge as best as you can. And then you're going to take some graham cracker crumbs and sprinkle it onto this icing while it's still sticky. So I'm just going to slowly work that up to the edge there. And then also you can fill in next to her when you finally got her in place. So I'm just going to take a spoon and sprinkle that onto here. Now for the waves part, what we're going to use is blue colored icing. Now I've got it mixed up here in this bowl, and you can see that I've got some white, I've got some light blue, and then the dark blue from the gel paste there that I haven't mixed in on purpose. So I'm going to take a spatula and then I'm going to do this open spot here. So I'm just going to try to get like a mixture of all three of the different colors, and then in order to do that I'm just going to press down, and I just want to make that kind of like a wave shape here underneath, which is going to sit underneath the Isomalt. So I'm just going to do a couple of these so you guys can get the idea of that. So I'm just making these waves here, grabbing some of the colors, and you can obviously, change up all the different shades here. If you want to get some more dark into it, you can add some more of the gel paste in, just like this. So then, once you've got enough of a base here, you can start to put your Isomalt waves onto it. One thing that is quite easy to do is you can make a little base just with the extra isomalt that I had. I just put a little bit of just a dollop of it, and then I just stuck the waves into it. It makes it a little bit easier to work with them. You just want to press that onto the icing, and you've got them there. And then you can make the other ones, you can press those into the icing as well. Now to finish off the isomalt waves, what I like to do is just take a little bit of the white icing that you have on the back of your spatula and just kind of brush the tops of the tips here, just to give it that little bit of the white crest to the top of the wave. So we're pretty much done the cake now, so I'm going to finish off the cake board, and then I'm going to transfer the cake over and I'll show you guys the finished product. So there you go, everybody, how to make this Moana cake. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you really liked it, give it the thumbs up. If you really, really liked it, give it a share with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys all again next time. Bye.